Hey, Emma-Louise here. I've got a nice little post-natal yoga flow today. So this one is just about 30 minutes long, so it's perfect for just squeezing in between those nap times. So when kids are asleep and you just want 30 minutes to yourself, nothing too strenuous, just a nice way to open out the body. And also just a little class in there about engaging our pelvic floor as well. So a couple options there on learning how to engage that and how to work that properly. So when you're ready, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start standing up. So just come with your feet about hip-width distance apart, just relaxing the shoulders down and away. You're going to just bring your hands together and we're going to start rubbing the hands together. So nice and easy, just starting to generate a little bit of heat and a little bit of energy coming through the fingertips. So just start rubbing them nice and quickly. Start to feel them getting a little bit warm, start to feel them getting a little bit tingly. Just start generating some of that nice, invigorating and powerful energy. So just nice and fast, rubbing them together as much as you can. And then gently gonna just shake them out. Feel that nice energy, bringing the body alive. Have your feet hips width distance still. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, just fold, bring that energy all over the body, release. Inhale, sweeping up again. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding down. One more. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding down. Stay here in a fold now. So relax your knees. Feel free to have a little bend in the knees if you like, or a big bend, whatever you need. If they're feeling a bit stiff, if they're feeling a bit tight, then just have a nice big bend there to release any pressure there, nothing painful. Maybe grab opposite elbow and just hang here like ragdoll. So just gently maybe rocking from side to side, maybe straightening one knee, bending the other as you rock onto that side. Relaxing the neck, let your head hang heavy. So you want the crown of the head to really be reaching down towards the mat. Start to notice your jaw, maybe unclench it if it's clenched. Maybe nod the head yes, shake the head no. And just breathe in nice and slow. Take some slow inhales through the nose and just sighing out through the mouth. Try to let the weight of the upper body just fold down and deliver that nice stretch through the legs. So it's just the weight of your body here, stretching those legs. Gently, when you're ready, we'll release the elbows and you're going to keep that nice little micro bend in the knees and just slowly roll up to standing. So one vertebra at a time. Take your time, no need to go super fast. Feel that spine gently starting to straighten and then releasing that head up last. We're going to keep inhaling and sweep the arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Awesome. So back in your standing position, we're just going to take a moment here just to go through something that all of us get told to do, but maybe not all of us know quite how to do properly, and that is the pelvic floor. So we're always told to start to work our pelvic floor, engage our pelvic floor, like do our Kegels, both before and especially after we have children. But one of the difficult things is actually knowing how to do it. So a really tiny little tip here, nice and quickly in for this class, is just to give you one little pointer, and that is just bring awareness to your big toes. And that's all you have to do to start to engage, okay? So just relaxing for a moment, bring your feet hips width distance apart, bring your palms by your side. Again, relax those knees. So you don't want them locked, but you want nice long straight legs. And then just take an inhale through the nose, sigh it out, relax the body. And then gently, we're going to just start to press the big toe into the mat, just the big toe, okay? As you press the big toe down into the mat, you might start to feel some engagement coming up through the inner thighs into the pelvic region, and you might even notice the tailbone starting to tuck ever so slightly. So not so much movement that you're seeing anything move, but just feeling that ever so slight engagement there. The tailbone starting to just slightly tuck, Those big toes pressing in, engaging that region there. So just relax the toes again for a moment. Take an inhale in through the nose, sigh it out. And then just press those big toes down into the mat. Try to maybe lift the other toes up if they're crunching down as well. Just press those big toes down. Start to feel that engagement pulling up. Maybe just bringing that tailbone in ever so slightly and just feeling that connection here. And release. We're going to do that a couple times just to get used to it, okay? Take an inhale through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth, and then gently press that big toe right down into the mat. Start to feel that engagement. Maybe even start to engage the glutes, but not clenching the butt cheeks, okay? So just feel a slight engagement there as you tuck that tailbone in. And release. Inhale, press the big toes down. Exhale, release everything. Inhale, press the big toes down. Exhale, release everything. So just a little pointer there, something you can start to use. You can also use the big toe example in other positions as well. So maybe when we're lying on the floor, I can take you through some of those also. But for now, let's come into our flow. So come to the top of your mat. Get the big toes to touch together. Have the ankles slightly apart, palms by your side facing forwards. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold your body down. Bring your nose to your knee, your fingertips to the floor. On your inhale, lengthen your spine, look ahead, bring the fingertips to the shins. Now exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms. We're going to just step the right foot back and then bring that right knee down and then bring the left knee back. So coming into a tabletop position here. So you want your wrists directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hips, about hips width distance. We're going to take just a few wrist stretches here because these can get pretty tight and sore after we just had babies. So let's take our right hand. You want to place it with the top of your hand down to the mat. So your palm is facing up, your fingertips are towards your right knee. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, just start to bring the hips back towards the heels, just ever so slightly, until you start to feel that stretch. Try not to let the hand lift off the mat. Keep it connected and only come as far back as you need to. It will probably just be a couple of inches, maybe an inch. Breathing here, don't hold the breath. And then gently, we're going to just flip that hand over. So the palm is down, the fingertips are still facing towards the right knee. Take an inhale. And then exhale, just slowly start to sit back on the heels. Again, just come back as far as you need to, okay? You can always tuck those back toes for a bit of extra stability if you need it. Try to really relax that shoulder down. Don't let it crunch into the ear and breathe. Awesome. Gently release from that. Just shake out that right wrist. And then you're going to bring that right wrist into a fist, coming back down so that left palm comes back onto the mat. Make a fist and then just press it down into the mat. Now we're just going to take some little circles with the body. So we're just kind of drawing a circle with the shoulder here, going in one direction. So you're feeling it on different areas of the fist as you come around, and then swapping direction. Remember to keep breathing nice and slow. And then gently releasing, shaking it out. Bringing that right palm down, we're going to come over to the left. So let's start flipping the left hand over. So the left palm is facing up, the left fingertips are towards that left knee. Bring that hand nice and flat, take an inhale, and then exhale, just sitting back towards the heels again. Remember, you can always tuck those toes for extra stability, and breathing here. Relaxing the shoulders, don't let them hunch up to the ears. Beautiful, coming forward, and then just flipping that hand over so the left palm is down, the left fingertips are still towards that knee. Take an inhale. And then exhale, sitting back towards the heels, shoulders away from the ears, breathing gently. And then gently releasing, shaking that hand out, and gently making a fist with that left hand, pressing it down. And when you're ready, just gently circling. So like you're drawing a circle with that shoulder, going a few circles in one direction, and then a few circles in the other direction. Awesome. Gently coming to a still, shaking out that left hand. And then slowly, when you're ready, bring both hands back down into your tabletop. We're going to take an inhale. You're going to extend your right arm in front of you, okay? So the right arm comes in front. Start to draw the lower ribs in. So we want to feel that core engagement. The left shoulder wants to be directly above the left wrist, and that right arm is extending out. Let's extend the left leg to the back. So bring the feet down to the mat to start with. So the left foot or the toes come down to the mat. If you feel that this is okay and you can maybe go further, you have that stability in the core, then maybe you can think about just raising that left foot up just a few inches. It doesn't need to come up high. You want to keep a nice straight spine, keep that left foot flexed. Otherwise, keep the left toes down on the mat. Breathing here for 3. Pulling the lower ribs in for 2. 1 more. And release. Let's take it back into a child's pose briefly. Bring the big toes together. Bring the knees wide. Reach the hands forward and melt the chest and the forehead down. Take a nice inhale through the nose and sigh it out. Inhale, slowly coming up back into your tabletop. We're just going to do the other side. So gently coming into this position, make sure your spine is long. Pull those lower ribs in, start to bring awareness to that core, and then gently extend that left arm out in front of you. When you're ready, we'll extend the right foot to the back. So the toes can stay down. You just extend that right leg behind you. Make sure you're pulling that pelvis up towards the ribs and pull those ribs in and down. That's your nice core connection to help keep your spine nice and long. If you feel like you can do it, then maybe lifting that right leg up. Remember, press down into that right palm. Keep that spine nice and long. Keep the right foot flexed, or keep the right foot or the right toes down on the mat. Breathe here for 3 more. For 2. 1 more. Beautiful. Release down. Come back to child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, hands in front. Melt the chest down. Inhale here through the nose and sigh it out. Staying in your child's pose, bring your fingertips together and interlace the fingers. And then you're going to just point the index finger forward. It's almost like making like a gun with the hands. And then you're going to press the elbows down into the mat and bring the hands behind the head. Really press those elbows down. Feel that nice tricep stretch there as you do it. Breathing here. Try to pull the shoulders down, the shoulder blades all the way down the spine. And then gently releasing those hands back down. On your inhale, come up, tuck your toes, and let's raise the hips up to downward facing dog. Now maybe just pedal out the legs here. Make sure those fingers are spread nice and wide. The palms are nice and flat. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. And breathing nice and slow in through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. Relaxing the neck. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Unclench your jaw. And then gently, let's step the right foot in between the hands. So the right foot comes to the front of the mat in between the hands. The back heel, so the left heel comes down to the mat. You're going to come up to your fingertips, and then we're going to rise up with the body coming up. Bring the hands onto the hips to start with, okay? So bring your hands to your hips just to bring some awareness to whether we can square our hips. We want to square them towards the front of the mat. So maybe just bring your hands to your hips and just see if that left hip is opening out to the side a bit. If you're struggling to square it, then just bring that right foot out to the side a little bit. Create that space in the hips and then just turn that hip forward. Remember, the back heel is down, the back toes are facing somewhere in the direction of the top left corner of the mat. And then you can just keep the hands here on the hips if that's more comfortable. Or what we can do is we're going to involve the shoulders a little bit. So maybe bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. We're going to lengthen those arms, feel that nice stretch through the shoulders. Try to keep that deep bend in that front knee and see if you can bring the wrists to touch. Don't worry if you can't, but we want to aim for that. Breathing here. If you feel you can go a little bit further, then maybe coming into a humble warrior. So bringing that right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. And then again, trying to keep those hips square towards the front. Breathing here. Otherwise, we're staying upright with the arms behind us or the hands on our hips. Breathing here. One more inhale. And then exhale, releasing, coming either up from your humble warrior or releasing the fingers up to the sky. And then exhale, framing the foot with the hands. We're going to just step it back to our downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. And then gently step the left foot in between the hands. Plant the back heel down and then gently rising up. Bringing the hands onto the hips to start with. Again, just notice whether we can square them towards the front. If there's not enough space, maybe bring the left foot out to the side. Create that space in the hips and then turn that back hip forward. Maybe keep the hands here or maybe go for that nice shoulder bind again. So fingers interlaced. Nice long arms, stretch the shoulders down. Try to get the wrists to connect. Maybe staying here or maybe coming down into that humble warrior, bringing the left shoulder to the inside of that left knee, watching the hips on coming out to the side. So try to keep them nice and square towards the front, relaxing the neck. Wherever we are, breathing here for a few more breaths. Rolling the shoulders down away from the ears. One more inhale. And then rising up to your humble warrior, from your humble warrior, reaching the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, lowering the hands down, stepping it back to a downward facing dog. Breathing here nice and gently. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. You're going to gently bring the knees down, coming into a tabletop and then coming to sit back onto the heels, coming down onto the mat here. So let's come into a cross-legged seat. And then we're just going to take an inhale, sweeping the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands down to prayer and then bring them onto the floor in front of you. We're going to stretch forward here. So try to keep those hips connected down to the mat as you reach forward with the hands. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears and just melt the chest down into the mat. Breathe here gently. Inhale, coming up right. And we're just going to cross the legs the other way. So whichever leg was in front, that's going to come behind and the other leg's going to come in front. We're going to do the same pose again because you might feel a stretch on the hamstrings, so we just want to even it out and do the other one. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands down and onto the floor, coming forward, melting the chest down, breathing here. Again, pull the shoulders away from the ears, all the way down the spine. Inhale, slowly bringing those hands back up towards the body. We're going to do a nice little shoulder stretch here now. We're going to bring the right arm over the top, so bending the right elbow up towards the sky and the right hand comes down the back. And then we're going to see if we can join the left hand underneath. So we want to join the fingertips together, okay? If you don't have the mobility in the shoulders to join the fingertips together, then you can either grab a hold of the top that you're wearing, so maybe just grabbing hold of your t-shirt, your sports bra, whatever it is, and just making something like that. Or if you have a strap, then just grabbing onto the strap, or anything else, a belt, a towel, anything that you have that you can just grab a hold of if you can't grab a hold of the fingertips. Now, another option you can take is to get the hips involved. So we can either keep our legs crossed like this, or we can cross the knees coming into our full cow face pose. So if you're comfortable with crossing the knees like this, then go for it. Otherwise, stay in a cross-legged seat. Have that right elbow pointing up to the sky. So maybe bring it back a little bit. Take an inhale here. Maybe stay here, just keep breathing, or exhale, folding forward. Now this can feel quite intense, so go easy on yourself, breathe into the pose. This is a beautiful release for the shoulders and for the hips. Gently we're going to rise up, releasing those hands, shaking it all out, shaking the legs and the shoulders. We're going to come and do the other side. So if you just cross the legs, then cross them the other way. If you've crossed the knees, then you'll cross the knees the other way. This time the left elbow is going to come up to the sky. We're going to reach back for it with the right hand. So the left elbow is pointing up and the right elbow is pointing down. Again, maybe staying here, just breathing, pulling that left elbow back, and maybe exhaling to fold forward. You can fold forward if your legs are just crossed in a cross-legged seat as well. So just listen to your body and see what's working. Keep pulling that left elbow back, don't let it come forward. And then gently coming all the way back up, shaking everything out. Bring those feet out in front of you, have your knees nicely bent. You're going to bring your hands behind the thighs here, okay? You're going to walk those feet in so they're nice and close to your hips. And then we're just going to roll those shoulders down. Really feel the sit bones connecting down to the mat and grow nice and tall in your spine. So your spine is nice and long. Start to scoop the belly in, pull those lower ribs in. Feel a bit of a core connection there, okay? So a little bit of core strength here. Now we're going to see if we can raise the heels and just press the big toes into the mat. So we're just raising those heels off the ground, just the toes connected to the mat. Keep those shoulders rolling down. Keep that core engagement, okay? Nice long spine, scooping the belly in, breathing here, pressing those toes into the mat, lifting those heels high. Now, this is probably where most of us want to hang out, especially if we're still in that fourth trimester and if we've had any issues with diastasis recti or anything at all. Hang out here. This is a burn, so this is as much as you need to have today. If you're a little bit further on in your postpartum journey, then maybe see if you can raise the feet off the ground coming into Navasana this way. If you feel like you can really go for it and you've had clearance and you've been doing core work already, then maybe seeing if you can release the hands out, palms facing up. Breathing here wherever we are for 5 more breaths. 5, 4, roll the shoulders down. 3, 2, scoop the belly in. 1 more. And releasing down. Let's come to lay flat on your back. Bring your arms out by your side. Take a little windscreen wiper with the knees. So just dropping the knees to the right and then dropping the knees to the left. Just help loosen out that lower spine. And then bring the knees back to center. The feet are still flat on the mat. The knees are bent. And then you're just going to bring your arms by your side. So bring your palms facing down onto the mat. Nice long arms. Really press the shoulders down into the mat. Don't let them lift off. Just lift your hips ever so slightly. And now start to roll the spine back down the mat. So feel that spine nice and flat and nicely connected to the mat here, okay? Press those feet down into the mat as well. They're nice and even. Now we're going to take another little pelvic floor exercise here before we come into our bridge. So again, using the big toe, we're going to just press the big toe into the mat. First, take a clearance breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Relax everything down. And now start to press that big toe into the mat. See if it feels differently on the ground here. Start to feel the inner thighs working, that pelvic floor starting to engage. And now you're going to feel that tiny tucking of the tailbone. And now we're going to see if we can tuck it even more and start scooping the hips off of the ground, raising the hips high. Keep pressing the big toe down. Keep pressing the arms and the palms into the mat. Lifting those hips, pressing the big toe down, breathing. Don't hold the breath. And exhale, gently releasing everything back down to the mat. Let's take a little windscreen wiper with the knees, just loosen it all up. And let's go one more time with that. So bringing those feet in nice and close towards the hips, nice and flat. Arms and the palms are facing down, pressing into the mat. Gently take an inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. And when you're ready, press the big toes into the mat. Start to feel that engagement, the inner thighs, the pelvic floor. Slow tucking of that tailbone, and then gently start to scoop the hips up, all the way up to the sky. Pressing the arms down, keep pressing the big toes down, lifting the hips high, breathing here. Lift your hips a little bit higher. Keep pressing the arms down into the mat. One more inhale, lift the hips. And then exhale, lower everything down. Beautiful. Hug those knees into the chest. Beautiful. Maybe draw a little bit of a circle with the knees. Maybe rock side to side. And then you're going to bring your hands behind the thighs. We're going to just rock up and down nice and gently. This is just a really nice little massage for the spine. And then you're going to rock all the way up to a seated position. Nice and gentle. Come to sit back into the middle of your mat. Extend the legs nice and long. Let's bend that right knee into the body and then just open the right knee out to the side. So the sole of the right foot comes into the inner thigh. The right knee is coming down towards the mat. Get your hips nice and flat on the mat. Try to square your hips towards the front. Flex that left foot. You're going to take your left hand behind you down to the mat, so onto the fingertips of that left hand, and then we're going to just reach the right hand towards the foot, so the outside of the left foot. Okay, now don't worry if you can't quite reach the foot. If it's a little bit too much for you, just bring the hand underneath the shin, the knee, wherever you fall, wherever you are. We're just reaching for the outside of that foot or the leg. Take an inhale, lengthen that spine. And then exhale, folding forward. Just reaching for the outside of that left, either foot or leg. Breathing here. So feeling this nice stretch, there's a nice release in the lower spine here. And a little bit in the hips as well. Slowly rising back up. Let's extend that right leg nice and long. Bring the left knee in and then drop that left knee out to the side. So the sole of the left foot comes into the right inner thigh. Bring the right hand behind you. Come up onto the fingertips of the right fingers. And then gently you're going to reach the left hand forward to the outside of that right foot or the outside of the shin or the knee, wherever you fall. Take an inhale, nice long spine. And then exhale, folding the body forward. Now try to keep those hips connected to the floor. Breathing nice and gently. And then slowly rising all the way back up. We're going to extend both legs out nice and long in front of us. Feel free to grab a hold of the fleshy parts of the bum cheeks and just bring them out to a side. And then you can really feel the sit bones connection to the mat. You want to try and keep it there. Try and grow tall from the base of your spine. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. Keep the shoulders down. flex the feet, and then exhale, fold the body forward. Again, don't worry if you don't reach the feet. The hands can come underneath the shins, the knees, wherever you fall, or if you have a strap or anything similar, just bring it around the soles of the feet and grab a hold of it that way. Take an inhale, try to keep your spine long. Exhale, fold the body forward. Bring awareness to your shoulders here. Try to make sure they're not hunching up into the ears and you're curling the body down. You want to try and keep your forehead reaching forwards, not down. So roll the shoulders down. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold the body, keeping that space between the shoulders and the ears as you fold. Gently, we're going to come all the way back upright, and we're going to slowly make our way down to the floor. So take your time, depending on where you are in your postpartum journey, as you come down. Maybe come onto your side first and then come onto your back, or maybe start scooping the belly in, tuck the chin into the chest, and slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Coming flat on our back into our well-deserved Shavasana. Now again, feel free to take any other position that feels better for you. So you can either lay flat on the back, you can have the knees bent, or you can come into everyone's favorite, which is legs up the wall. So find a wall near you and then gently start to scoot your bum as close towards it as you can and start to move your feet up the wall, and then just gently scoot your bum all the way into the wall, lengthen those legs all the way up and lay flat on your back. Now this is a beautiful pose, beautiful way just to literally put your feet up. You can bring your arms by your side, you can bring them out to a T, into a cactus, maybe bring them above the head. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful way to relax and just chill out. So close the eyes down, start to enjoy that nice rush of blood coming in towards all the organs. Start to feel the feet get lighter. If you hold this pose for a while, you might start to feel a bit of tingling in the feet as the blood starts to drain. And just relax here. Feel free just to pause here and stay for as long as you need, just closing the eyes down, enjoying a moment of stillness, enjoying a moment of time to yourself to be and just breathe. No other tasks, nothing else on the mind, just nice, clear thoughts. And then when you're ready, gently coming out of the pose, rolling onto any side that's most comfortable, just taking a couple of breaths here. And then slowly bringing yourself up to your seated position, crossing the legs, checking in with the body, congratulating yourself for giving this time to your body, but also to your mind, and enjoying this feeling of lightness. Bring the hands together in prayer, bringing that thumb into the third eye, just in between the eyebrows, and bowing down. Namaste. Thank you.